to the Two Dumb Yinzers show this morning. Welcome back. This is episode 693. Good morning, everybody. Mike, if you wasn't woken up by 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with that entrance, I think everybody's up now.
I think so. Wow.
A lot of sports, a lot of things went down this weekend, man. A lot to talk about, but let's start this off right. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. God, man, I was not expecting that energy from you. I haven't heard from you all weekend. I was wondering how that would go this morning, and my God, whatever you did this weekend, keep doing it, man. The energy is just off the charts.
I'm good for one of these energy days once every 4 or 5 months. So
yeah,
this might be the big one. Who knows? We will continue. We'll try to see how that goes, Mike. But I do want to say to everybody, welcome back this morning to the show. A lot of things to talk about, Mike. I watched so much sports this weekend, and none of it was my NFL. So we do have a lot of things to go over today. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Do you see this? Company named Kissinger, they made this device, Mike, to where you could kiss somebody who's not near you, somebody that might be on the other side of the country, somebody who might be on the other side of the world. And with the pressure sensitive sensors, you can now feel their kiss pressed up against your lips. I think it's a great idea. I just don't know how long it's going to take before it goes full perversion and it's not used for lips anymore. That was my first thought.
Oh, that was one of my thoughts, and I thought it was going to go along the lines of like you can make it like where you're kissing like some celebrity or someone else that you have a crush.
That's
on.
probably
that
coming.
will be the next thing. That's coming too. Yeah, it'll get real pervy real quick.
Absolutely. There's nothing the man makes that doesn't turn pervy. And you know what? When I seen this, I thought this got, excuse me, this has pervy written all over it. You can actually feel the other person's lips. I mean, come on. It would be on my taint before I even tried it on, as a kiss.
Right.
I may never, ever try it as a kiss, to be honest with you. But,
no, because that's perfect for us. That's, we'd find a way to ruin that thing within the first 5 seconds.
And it's weird to me because, from something that I've noticed from right around the time of COVID, people don't do things they used to do. People don't go out. People don't fill clubs. Yeah. People don't, go drinking at the local bars. I'm just wondering how people are getting laid these days. I was wondering this over the weekend, and I thought there's really, unless you use your mobile device, like there's really, it's tough to go out and get laid. You just can't go out and have a few drinks and get some. It's just weird to me, Mike. And also the reproduction rates are way down. So it just makes you wonder where all this is going, especially since they'll be rolling out these robots in the next few years where people are going to be able to have sex with these robots. I'm just wondering, like, what kind of effect that this is going to have on mankind and our population and the way we do things.
Hopefully less people. So when I do go out, I don't have to interact with people. That's what I'm up for.
If it was all chicks, that'd be fine.
Oh yeah, but
yeah,
I know where you go. I notice there's a lot of dudes everywhere you go. I'm not making a judgment. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just observation.
Where I go, home space.
Yeah, where you go. Yeah.
Another observation, Mike.
Bunch of dudes.
Another observation.
Yes.
It's impossible. It's impossible to give away a mattress. But people spend up to people spend $250 to $1,000 to stay at a hotel on a used mattress.
Yeah,
just another observation. You know what I mean?
Because
I wouldn't take somebody's used mattress if you paid me.
No.
But yet I'll stay at a hotel. Like it's nothing.
Yeah. Which is weird because how often are those sheets getting cleaned and. Because they got to fly through and get so many rooms done in an hour.
Right.
So, yeah. How thorough is it? Like, no knock against those people. They're in a race against the clock. They got their quotas they got to meet. So,
and of course, Mike, here on the show, we've had, a guest who made a lot of views and things like this on TikTok by doing just this. And that they don't put this special attention to each room. They just don't. They go in, they do what they got to do. and they're on to
Yeah.
the next because you got
But
hundreds of
you're under a
rooms.
time crunch. Yeah. You got like 5 different bosses up your ass to get this shit done.
Chances are you've slept on somebody's splooge before when you was at a hotel. I mean, seriously. I mean, not even being funny. The
Yeah, it's
chances are
probably
good.
happened.
The chances are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Mark Malone. Good morning, my friend. Welcome to the show. He says, yeah, I could do with less humans on the planet. We all can, Mark. And also, he says, jizz all over them. Absolutely. I wouldn't doubt it for a minute that
Yeah.
you've slept on semi-dry jizz before. Mike, I wouldn't doubt it for a minute, but
Yeah.
there you go.
But you know what? Some of the best sleep I get is in hotel rooms.
I love sleeping in hotels.
Yeah. Maybe deep down we just love sleeping on other people's jizz. And that's a human need, apparently.
Yeah, I'm the one that has all the men in my gathering spaces.
I'm just saying, I don't judge. You know, each their own, man.
One thing else I also have to do today, Mike, I have to make an amends. I have to fix something. Because on Friday's question of the day, the top 5 quarterbacks, I mixed the last 2. I had the information right. I just gave it to you wrong. The best quarterback of all time in Pittsburgh history, of course, is Ben, then Bradshaw, then Cordell, and then Neil O'Donnell, and then Bubby Brister. So
Okay.
I just wanted to revise.
The Bubster, you gotta give the Bubster. The Bubster.
I sent you a video over the weekend. Did you see Bubby tearing it up?
Yeah.
Bubby and 9 turnovers in that game against the Browns.
Yeah,
the Browns had 9 turnovers.
I remember that game.
Bubby 4 touchdowns on 119 yards passed at that. It was pretty the good old 80s.
Man. That's, you know, people want to complain about quarterback play in the NFL today. Go back and watch quarterback play in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, God, it was terrible.
Speaking of quarterback play, Mike,
Yes.
today on our thumbnail, I noticed that we have a quarterback on there. It's Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. A lot of people at this early juncture of the offseason. Of course, we all know there's a while to go till we get to the draft. But a lot of people are pinning Jackson Dart as of right now to the Steelers for their first draft pick. You know, I'm seeing a lot of speculation. You know, I mean, the Sam Darnold, that noise still hasn't gone, still hasn't dissipated yet. Still, so you know, to me, Mike, you know, we know that we need a quarterback. The Steelers know they need a quarterback.
Yes.
So you have the situation going on where Rooney comes out and mentions that he prefers Wilson over Fields.
Yeah.
So between that, you have that going on. Also, you have the Sam Darnold and the Matt Stafford talk up in the air, and now you have the Jackson Dart, the rumor mill going about, you know, who we might go in the first round. Some people, Mike, I've been watching a lot over the weekend. Some people are thinking that it's crazy that we go outside of the defensive line in our first round pick just because of how bad of of shape we are on the defensive line. But me, Mike, I don't know how you can't go offense in the first round with the considerable problems we've had over the past few years. Certainly, a lack of skill position players. I think the Steelers have to go after one of the 3 skilled positions. I think they have to in the first round. Mike, is there anything that tells you otherwise?
No, unless, like, you know, for some odd reason, like someone like Mason Graham from Michigan, who's projected to go in the top 5, he's a defensive lineman. Unless he falls all the way down to 20, I'm looking at that wide receiver pool. Who is there? And do I take, you know, Luther Burden? Do I take Ibaka? You know, if they're not there, okay, then I'm taking a look at quarterback. You know, Jackson Dart. He's been rising up, you know, evaluations ever since the end of the season, ever since the Senior Bowl. You know, he's been gaining ground. He's gone from a 4th round pick to a 3rd round pick. Now, late, you know, early 2nd, late 1st round pick. Okay, do you want to go that route? You want to throw a 1st round pick on a quarterback? Then, you know, do it at 20 and then dip receiver at round 2, then address your D line further down in the draft. So as much as I want to address that D line, because it needs a whole hell of a lot of help, but like you said, you don't want to neglect the offense. And if a receiver's there, take him. If the quarterback's there, you got to think about taking him as well too. If you think he can turn into your guy, even if you sign a quarterback in free agency, you gotta have a plan B, because plan A and whoever you bring in, whether it be Fields, whether it be a Darnold, whether it be whoever, get that next young quarterback. Don't wait until the third round to go and get your quarterback like we've done in the past. Get one in the first, get one in the second round, because that's where, your quarterbacks who win Super Bowls typically are drafted first and second round. You're not going to find a Tom Brady ever again in the sixth round. So go pick one, pick two, and get a quarterback. Go wide receiver one, quarterback two. If trade up in the second round to get the quarterback, if you think of Jackson Dart's your guy, trade up to get him.
Mike, do you know anything about this Jackson Dart? I mean, obviously he's a good quarterback. Going into the combine, he's going to be drafted into the NFL.
Yeah.
Where does he stand? I mean, along the lines of quarterbacks you've seen over the past few years, of course, Bo Nix has come along and really threw out a lot of touchdowns this season.
And that's funny that you mentioned Bo Nix. That's like the comp to him is a Bo Nix type quarterback. Oh, okay. And we saw what Bo Nix was able to do. I thought, last year going into the draft that Bo Nix was a joke. Like, that was so stupid they took him. Well, one of the guys I watched that breaks down quarterbacks all last year, he had his order. It was Jaden Daniels number one, then Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, and that's kind of how all of them performed. And right now he's having Jackson Dart as his number three quarterback. And one of the big things about Jackson Dart that we talk about on the show all the time about college players, how do they perform year in, year out? And he's gotten better every year, playing at Ole Miss, playing in the SEC, and that's impressive to be able to improve year in, year out in that, arguably one of the toughest, if not the toughest conferences in college football, and on a team that's historically not that good.
You know what they remind me of? Ole Miss always reminds me of Penn State. Yeah, because if the top teams weren't in those conferences, they would have a lot more. It's always Ole Miss, Penn State, and then all the teams above them that are the ones that are winning it. Always so close, Mike. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the name, of course. We're going to go through the list of names that are invited to the combine that are quarterbacks here shortly. Go ahead. It sounds like you had a point.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I was just watching the video breakdown of him against Georgia. And, so it was some good, some bad, which we can expect from everyone. But, he was throwing with anticipation. He was going through his progressions quick, sometimes too quick, where he was, jumping off that first read to the third read, but throughout the game, he was getting a little bit better at it. So, he's a work in progress. He's not going to come in and, storm the league like Jaden Daniels did or Big Ben did back in the day. But he's someone, he can play and get better as the year goes on, or sit a year and then come in next year and might be even better than what he would be if he played all year long.
13 minutes into the show, I do want to say good morning to Jen. And good morning, Jen. Also, I do want to say good morning to over enthusiastic mod Caleb. What's up, brother? He says at Mark Malone. Isn't that the name of the NBA team in Utah? Of course, referring to Mark Malone's comment earlier saying the Jizz. The Utah Jizz maybe is what he might be referring to. And Mark Malone replied back, the Jizz. Man.
Polygamy Jizz shooters. There's a t-shirt.
There's a t-shirt for you. So good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. The over enthusiastic mod Caleb. We were riding out of the NBA All-Star Weekend. Fans who had seats behind Kevin Hart, excited to see the full game, unobstructed. At least two fans in the stands, Condors jerseys. Guys, believe it or not, we are going to talk a little NBA today, just because it was a big weekend and there was a lot of news to talk about. So we will get into that shortly, but nonetheless, we always got to start with our bread and butter, our heart and soul. Our Pittsburgh Steelers guys. As we mentioned, we're talking a little quarterbacks today. Jackson Dart gaining a lot of attention as possibly being who the Pittsburgh Steelers go with in the first round, second round, maybe whenever he's available, if that in fact be the case, guys. But here's a direct correlation, Mike, I'd have to say that I think you're going to see more of, especially over the next couple of months or so here. They did cut ties. The Steelers cut ties with Preston Smith the other day. Adding significant salary cap space, $12 million to the for the Steelers. And there's a lot of talk, Mike, about Minkah Fitzpatrick might not be back this year. Is this a direct correlation to we have to spend some money on offense, and if we don't clear some money up on D, that's just not going to happen?
Yeah, definitely the Preston Smith move. That was, he was brought in because we had a couple guys hurt at the time. We were playing really well. Like, this is going to be the guy if we go on a run. Could be a nice backup piece. And, the season kind of fell off. And okay, you're not going to keep him around for $13 million. And like you said, that's money we can use on the offense, hopefully. And the Minka, that's got to be tied into performance, attitude, and the whole contract situation there. But like you cut him, that's a lot of dead money. And maybe a contract renegotiation to lighten it up this year and push some money back to next year. Something with him. They got to figure out something with his contract. I know, like Mark Williams says all the time, who's going to want to take that contract? Not many teams for the production you're getting out of them.
But you always got to remember there are teams that love to blow loads of money on good players, even though it's not going to make any difference, like the Raiders, like the Browns, like the continuous teams that every year in, year out do this. So every time somebody says nobody's going to pick that contract up, I always think to myself, nobody that's a smart team, but there's still a plethora of teams that aren't that smart out there that do this all the time, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of dumb teams out there that will take on that hit. And, Steelers could trade them. Do like teams are kind of like LA saying, hey, we'll eat some of the contract of like the guys that you want, like a Stafford or a Cup. Steelers can do that too. And, that would lower the return you're getting from them, but you're still going to get, some sort of draft capital, and you're going to gain contract relief that you can use to spread to the wide receiver position, spread to maybe the running back position, maybe even the D-line, get a better veteran than Ogunjobi, who might be another person who might be released as well due to performance and cap space. So they have a lot of cap space to work with. I think they approached after that cutting of Preston Smith about like they should be close to the top 10 in cap space. They should be able to make some pretty significant splashes to bolster the offense and even on parts of the defense that, need address, especially cornerback situation.
And it's such a, absolutely, I agree with everything that you say. Mike, let me ask you, with the wide receivers we need, with quarterbacks we need, with the running backs we need, let me ask you, what percent do you give the Steelers to make a big quarterback move? And I mean by saying big quarterback move, I mean either drafting a quarterback who you expect to be your number one eventually, by going out and getting yourself a quarterback that's already in the league and established, paying him more money. What's the chances, Mike, you see that going down? Because again, there's been times we expected them to go out and get a wide receiver too, and it just never happened. There's been times we expected this, it just never happened. Mike, in this offseason, do the Steelers address the quarterback situation?
I think for our quarterback situation, it's going to be Justin Fields again. I think they're going to bring him back around that $9 to $10 million average every year for the next 2 years. So look for a 2-year, $20 million contract to Justin Fields. I look for them to draft a quarterback in the draft, but probably not until the 4th, 5th round. Probably someone along the lines.
Didn't we draft a quarterback last year in the late rounds? And
no, that was
at the end of
that was 2 years ago.
That was that John Rise Plumlee.
No, he was a free agent. We picked him up as a free agent.
Oh, he was undrafted.
No, he was an
undrafted. Oh, he was undrafted. He was a rookie though.
Yeah, he was an undrafted rookie free agent. Okay. I see us going for some of these later round quarterbacks that Tyler Show from Louisville has been talked a lot about, but he's more or less a 1-year starter, 25-year-old quarterback out of Louisville. I'd rather have a guy that's produced year in, year out, kind of like
absolutely
a Jackson Dart. Take a look at him. Maybe even someone like I hate to say it, like a Will Howard, Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers. Maybe not Quinn Ewers, but guy out of Syracuse. I wish Jerpy was here. He was the quarterback for Ohio State, Kyle McCord. I look for that would be a typical Steeler move. We're going to get one of these guys in the 4th, 5th round and see if we can develop him. And if not, oh well, he's going to be our backup quarterback forever, kind of like they did with Landry Jones. Going to be like that type of quarterback instead of doing a big move and trading up and getting someone that you can think, hey, this is going to be our guy this year, next year, compete with the guy, whoever we brought in. Well, the Steelers, man, they love their veteran quarterbacks.
And as Jen's saying, our former quarterback, he's in Kansas City. They made a move to bring in.
Yep.
Oladukin, I guess you pronounce it.
Oladukin, yeah.
Mike, and as you
7th round pick. Ugh.
There you go. I mean, that's probably
that's Of course, that's a carryover from Kevin Colbert's draft philosophy of draft quarterback mid rounds. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Uh,
listen. Nothing is working good. We could blame
no.
this. That's the one thing we have to quit doing is pointing fingers because everything
Yeah.
is broken right now.
Oh yeah.
Mike, these are, and you mentioned Will Howard briefly amongst all those quarterbacks. I just want to make one note: not one single Ohio State quarterback has ever won the Super Bowl.
I know.
So just keep that in mind. Guys, this is the 2025 scouting report combine for the combine invited quarterbacks. I'm going to start at the very top of the list. Mike, I'm just going to go down through them.
Yep.
Minnesota's Max Brosmer. Missouri's Brady Cook. Ole Miss Jackson Dart. Texas Quinn Ewers. Oregon's Dylan Gabriel. Memphis Seth Hennigan. Ohio State Will Howard. Notre Dame Riley Leonard. Syracuse's Kyle McCord. Florida's Graham Mertz. Alabama Jalen Milroe. Indiana's Curtis Rourke. Colorado Shedeur Sanders. Louisville Tyler Show. And Miami Cam Ward. Mike, those are the quarterbacks that are going to be at the combine starting in about 10 days or so, give or take, the end of next week into the next month. Mike, is anybody in that list stand out to you? I mean, besides the names we already talked about, of course, the Sanders is going to go early. The Cam Ward is going to go early. These guys, Jackson Dart's been on our radar. A few other names as well. Mike, is there any names that hasn't been talked about much that you're hearing on that list that may either become a significant name to Pittsburgh fans or even in general, maybe that's somebody that hasn't been talked about but could certainly make a big splash in the league?
I want to take a look at Kyle McCord. I want to see how he does. He's gotten better every year. He transferred from Ohio State to Syracuse, and that's where he really exploded. But, was that a drop of the competition? Is it him getting a chance to play more in the system that worked with him? I'm not sure. But I want to see what he can do because some of his advanced stats look pretty good. But, is that the level of competition that he's going against? I want to see how well he does at the combine. And I want to take a look at people who actually know how to break down quarterbacks, see what they're saying with his mechanics and stuff. But he's someone now I wouldn't be opposed to taking him in the 4th round, but I don't think he's your long-term answer. I think he's your long-term answer at backup, be that steady backup that you're going to have there for years to come. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but if I'm finding a quarterback in this draft to be my guy right now, I'm looking at Cam Ward and potentially Jackson Dart. Those are my 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, of course, all these names, Mike, and even in the McCord talk, they did lose to a pretty bad Pitt team, 41-13 this year.
Yep.
But nonetheless, he threw the ball 64 times.
Yeah.
Like he went 35 for 64 for 321, no touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not his best game ever, but at the end of the day, he throws 64 passes, 321 yards. I mean, that's a quarterback. It's an arm back there. But again, at the end of the day, once you said Syracuse, that kind of put me in because we play Syracuse often, and I just got to say that I don't remember anything special.
I know.
But I remember there was a lot of talk about McCord.
Yeah.
But again,
and that was his worst game. That was his worst game of the year, too.
And that was a bad Pitt team. I wish they would have been better. They just weren't. Let me catch up on the board here. Over-enthusiastic Mod Caleb says Blown Loads were one of the rejected fan names for when the Jazz moved to Utah. I like that. And also Mark Malone says draft Howard and show rounds 3 and 5. Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, whatever we got to do, we have to figure something out. And you know what, Mike? It almost makes sense that keeping Fields around for, what'd you say, about $10 million, give or take? Might be the most sensible move if we're going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
But if they're going to go big and go out and pay a Darnold, a Stafford, Lawrence, whoever, then what's your move, Mike? Because at that point, neither one of these quarterbacks want to stay in Pittsburgh if they're going to be standing behind somebody else.
Yeah.
What's the play if the Steelers do decide to surprise everybody and make a splash at quarterback, which I don't think they've ever done before?
No. But if they do go outside their norm, which they have been doing under Omar Khan and Andy Weidel, then okay. Let's say you go out and you get a Sam Darnold or a Stafford. then that's when I start looking at someone like Howard,
Yeah.
McCord, Kuhn Ewers later in the draft. Maybe that Taylor Slow guy. Looking at them later in the draft as my developmental quarterback to be the backup to those guys, to where they don't have to be the savior of my franchise right now. That's what I would. Then I'd kick the can down the road on the quarterbacks later in the draft. Use my rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 on on wide receivers, on D line, on running backs to upgrade my offense.
It's going to be interesting. As we said early, it's early on in the off
Yeah,
season. We have a lot of things to get through before the next football season comes around.
yeah.
The 2025 season. Like, we have the combine starting next week. Of course, we have the big draft in Wisconsin. We have
Mm-hmm.
free agency. A lot of things going down. That's why I always say the football season never ends. If you truly love football, it never ends.
Yeah.
Mike, the Steelers, they're hiring, I'm sorry, Scott McCurley. We just talked last week about getting quality assistant coaches. This guy is a former Dallas inside linebacker coach. He's actually from Newcastle, about 20 minutes up the road from where we are.
Yep.
Mike, is this a good pickup at an assistant coach? Is this irrelevant? Or does this kind of go along with what you're saying? We just need to do better when we hire guys that are
Yeah.
assistant coaches.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I do not know, because I was trying to find out information and looking at, Dallas had some pretty good linebacker play. We did lose Aaron Curry. Yeah, that was our inside backer coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We lost him, and they played really well. Landon Roberts, Peyton Wilson had a damn good rookie year developing. So it sucked losing him. Hopefully this guy can come in and kind of pick up where he left off, because that inside backer room became a huge bonus this year. And let's just see if he can continue it, because once getting down into the nitty gritty of position coaches, I don't know. To be off the top of my head, I know Dallas has always had good linebackers. Now, is that because of what they were drafting, or is it because he was helped developing? So we'll see. And it'll be
How long
easy
has
to
this dude
tell.
been there?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they play this year, because they played really well last year.
Talking about some other teams around the league, Mike, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams right now that all sit with 2 Super Bowls. Mike, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, the LA Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Indianapolis Colts, and Miami. Mike, which of these teams seem like they'd be the first to reach their 3rd Super Bowl win for you? These 2 Super Bowl win teams: Philadelphia, Baltimore, LA, Tampa Bay, Indianapolis, Miami. Mike, which one of them do you think is going to get to their 3rd Super Bowl first? Victory.
That's going to be right now. For me, it's between Philly and Baltimore.
I would agree.
Yeah, because can Philly, go back to back? They have a roster that looks like they can damn well do, be one of those teams to go on a mini run. Baltimore's so damn close, but you got a coach and a quarterback that haven't been doing well in the playoffs. They get their one win and they get bounced in the next round. So it's iffy for them. So right now I'm leaning towards Philly. And that could just be recency bias, because what we just saw.
Absolutely, of course.
Those 2 teams right now on paper, they're the best suited.
The Rams, they bounced out of their open window. I mean, of course, if they send their starting quarterback down the road, they're not going to be in a position to win a Super Bowl. The Dolphins, I think, are really far. Indianapolis has a ways to go. Tampa Bay ain't going to happen. So I think you're right. It's either going to come down to Philadelphia or Baltimore. I think either one of those 2 teams can do it. I really do. I think Philadelphia. I mean, come on. If they come out and play like they did this year, they're pound for pound the best team in the NFL. I think offense, defense, special teams, the whole way up the sideline. I think that's probably the best team that's built out there. But again, Baltimore, it almost seems like it's going to be unnatural if this team doesn't at least make a Super Bowl with, again, Harbaugh and with Jackson and with the running back. I mean, come on, this team is built for a championship too. So it's almost funny that they don't and they aren't and they can't get there, because I mean they're stacked. This team should in fact be a team that is competing. But unfortunately, it's Kansas City Chiefs is playing the role of the Patriots to these guys.
Yeah. And Kansas City, they may have got, embarrassed in the Super Bowl, but they dominated dominated the AFC in the playoffs, and they look like a team that can retool quick. They're doing this without a number one wide receiver.
And you got to think too, all those times that the Patriots knocked us out, they didn't win every single Super Bowl. They went on and lost some too. So,
they're Kansas City is going to be a roadblock for a lot of really good teams.
Yes, absolutely. I hate it. Also around the NFL, let's take a look, Mike, at some things. We did talk about Patrick Surtain last week being the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. We talked about us having a little bit of interest in him, prior to the season. That was, speculation up front. Like Patrick Surtain, if I could just take a minute to pull up his numbers here, I think you're going to be amazed. Maybe not so much amazed because you know what kind of player he is. But if I could find just a moment, I could find his numbers, and you're probably gonna shit at the numbers that Patrick Surtain put up, Mike. And again, we said to ourselves, why does it always have to be a defensive end, a linebacker? Mike, this is what Patrick Surtain did in 2024. His receiving yards allowed by game. I'm gonna go game by game. First week against Seattle, Surtain gave up 39 yards.
Whew.
Second game against the Steelers, Surtain gave up 16 yards. Third game against Tampa Bay, Surtain gave up 8 yards. Fourth game against the Jets, 22 yards. Fifth game against the Raiders, 24 yards. Week 6 against the Chargers, 0 yards. Was out in week 7. Week 8, he gave up 5 yards against Carolina. Baltimore, he gave up 15 yards. Kansas City, he gave up 18 yards. Atlanta, 0 yards. The Raiders, 35 yards. Week 13, the Browns, he gave up 25 yards. Damn. Then a bye. And then the Colts in week 15 with 4 yards given up. 4. Again, the Chargers, 23. The Bengals, the most yards he gave up all season, I'm sure it was probably Chase.
Probably Chase, yeah.
45 yards. And then finally, the last game of the year, their second round against the Chiefs, 27 yards. Mike, that sounds to me like a defensive player of the year. That's not a one-trick pony stat. That is a guy dominating the defensive side of the field, his position all season long. Mike, the most yards he gave up wasn't even half of a field. When you consider big-time number one receivers, go for right around 100 yards every game, give or take. Mike, 45 yards was the most he gave up in a game to a number one.
Yeah, and like
did we drop the ball by not going after this guy?
I don't know if Denver was willing to give him up. Yeah, because I know it was like trade talk with him. I don't think they were willing to give him up. It's kind of like a kick the tires type situation, what it would take to get him, and they probably way too much. But if he was available at a reasonable price, I would have loved to have him. I would have given up the first round this year to get him and Joey Porter.
Mike, was it more worth it to have Patrick Surtain this past year than TJ Watt?
Ooh. It was better to have Patrick Surtain this year than TJ Watt.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And like the longest play he gave up all year, like longest receptions, 23 yards. He did it twice up until the wild card rounds. No, yeah. Buffalo had a 55-yarder against him. So he just dominated everyone except the official stat line against Pittsburgh was only 16 yards, but George Pickens, go back and watch that film. I know they don't count because of the penalties, but George Pickens ate him up. And that was like the only receiver that did anything all year on him. This guy was, there's a reason he won the Defensive Player of the Year. He shut down a lot of number ones.
Absolutely. Speaking of cornerbacks, Mike, people in Philadelphia are loving the exciting whites.
Heck yeah, baby.
I love it, Mike. Only in this day.
Him and what? Reed Blankenship.
They were calling. Yeah. They were all chanting. What's the guy? They were all chanting. Wait, who's the first guy?
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper. They were all chanting Cooper, and it was actually the other guy.
Yeah, they couldn't tell the white guys apart.
Also, I did see this. Multiple Eagles fans shot during the Super Bowl parade in Philadelphia. There you go. Philadelphia people doing Philadelphia things. But
had one. There was one last year, too.
There was one shooting, in Kansas City.
Yeah.
There was multiple shootings in Philadelphia. But my point being, Mike, they really love these DBs they got in
Oh yeah.
Philadelphia. Nothing Philadelphia can do right now could go wrong. Everything they touch works. They're in a position to just
Like,
say, "Hey, let's get Jalen Carter in the first round." They take him now. They have a dominant defensive lineman. Hey, let's just take the best cornerback, Cooper DeJean. They got him. Let's take Quinion Marsh. Mike, everything they touch turns to gold. When and
how,
how the hell did this start?
Howie Roseman has just been going like more or less. It feels like he's doing like those mock drafts. Like, I'm just going to take the best guy available that everyone says is good, and it
Right.
works. Like, because normally,
And
like when
that's not
teams try,
possible, but they're
yeah,
pulling it off.
yeah, like when teams try and do that, oh, I'm just going to go with the best guy available. They tend to fuck it up, but they're striking gold, and they were lucky. They got Jalen Carter at ninth. So with all the off-field issues that were surrounding him, it doesn't surprise me he fell that far. But they were
The
smart
guy
enough.
got in a
You
the guy
saw
was
a
in a
guy
race
falling,
car
take
accident
him.
and somebody got killed. I mean, come on, the guy
Yeah,
still knows how to play football.
yeah. It's kind of
You
like
know,
when Randy Moss was falling down the draft. Oh, he likes to smoke the reefer. We can't trust him. Minnesota's like, yeah, we'll take the best receiver we've seen since Jerry Rice. Okay, that's nothing wrong with gambling on talent. Off-field issues, you know, they're college kids. How many of you were, prim and proper in your college years? How many of you guys can go out drinking, partying, doing something stupid? Take the best available athlete. And that's what Philly's doing, and it's working.
I mean, that's a two-sided argument. On one hand, I mean, no
Yeah. On
matter
one hand, yeah, yeah,
all the stupid shit I did, I never killed anybody. But on the other
yeah. That's what
hand,
I'm. Oh
if
yeah.
I was
Oh
going
yeah.
into the
Exactly.
NFL, it would be a different story. And again, you don't forget how to play football
Yeah. You
if you
don't.
have a
No.
problem off the field.
Yeah. And if you have a
Um,
good in-house culture, you can
yeah,
take those guys and be like, listen, we're giving you a chance. Don't fuck it up. The minute you do, you're gone. And teams that are willing to take the chances, that have that good foundation, it pays off. And then you got teams like the Raiders who consistently do that for their entire franchise history, and it backfires on them constantly.
um, Patrick Mahomes, Mike, is Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is kryptonite. Tom Brady beat
Yeah, I
Patrick
saw
Mahomes
this.
in the AFC Championship game. Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and um, Patrick Mahomes played arguably his worst game ever in a game that Tom Brady was calling.
Yeah.
Mike, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, is Patrick Mahomes forever going to be affected negatively by Tom Brady?
I think so. It's trending that way, to where Tom Brady is like just standing in everyone's way of catching him. I have a feeling that if Tom Brady did not call that Super Bowl, we would have had a Chiefs three-peat.
Ah, man.
Fuck you, Tom Brady.
A couple other things here, Mike. Let's talk. Let's because there's a whole bunch of sports that went down this weekend. So I'm going to cross the lines here for a little bit. The Pitt basketball team, they took on Miami. They beat the Hurricanes 74-65 on Saturday afternoon. The Panthers will be hosting, Mike. Again, we just talked about this team, the Syracuse Orange, but in basketball this time. They'll be hosting them tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in the conference. Also, Mike, other Pitt news: Penn State will be coming back to Pitt for the baseball game this year in May at PNC Park. Another PNC matchup between the Penn State Nittany Lions and Pitt Panthers. That would be a lot of fun. It's always fun when those two teams get
Oh yeah.
together
No
and
matter the
play
sport.
and compete. Always a lot of fun. So we got that out of the way. The Pitt basketball, Pitt baseball. Mike, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they win their third straight preseason game. They beat the Columbus team. They beat Columbus 1-0. They will be back in action Tuesday at noon against Loudoun United FC, Mike. Loudoun.
Loudoun. Powerhouse. Loudoun. I don't even know.
Powerhouse. Let's go hockey next.
Yeah.
How can you not like this? How can you not? I mean, come on, this is top quality. USA, Canada going at it. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. The United States winning this game. If you're a hockey fan in America, in the United States of America, it didn't get much better than this game, Mike.
No, we finally beat Canada in hockey, and it was like you said, like 3 fights right off the rip. A very emotional game, and God, man, this is how hockey should be played. I'm not a big fan of fights in the hockey for when they're stupid, but these were like good, well timed
I
out
liked it.
fights to
Yeah.
set the edge and set the emotional tone of the game. And then it was a good, fast paced, hard hitting game, not a dirty game. It was the way hockey should be played, and it was a thing of beauty.
Jake Gensel scored twice. The Team USA will go on to play Sweden today at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Canada plays Finland today
Yep.
at 1 o'clock. So a little over an hour. Canada and Team Finland going at it. Championship game will be on Thursday at 8 o'clock. Mike, with that loss, Canada Sidney Crosby led Canada team was 26-0 with Sidney
Yeah.
Crosby on the team. Falls to 26-1. Still not a bad record.
Bum. You know
Mike,
what? That guy's a bum. He sucks.
it's easy to root for Crosby because he's our guy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for the United States, that was a big win. So let's hope that they can continue. They could get a win tonight against Sweden, Sweden, and they could go for the championship on Thursday. Mike, are you enjoying this?
I am, but I hate a lot of the guys that are on Team USA just because they're from other teams that Penguins play all the time, and I hate those guys. So I don't want to see them win, but you also want your team to win, And like Team Canada, got Crosby. That's my guy. I want to see Crosby win. So it's like tough sledding in these competitions for me.
But haven't we? I mean, the thing at the end of the day is we've seen Crosby win a lot, so it doesn't hurt as
Yeah, I
bad.
know.
No. I mean, if it was Jesus coming from the clouds, you could say this guy could go on undefeated for the rest of his life. But you know what?
Yeah.
A loss isn't going to hurt the guy's rep.
Yeah. But I would like to see.
I like to see the red, the white, and the blue come out on top.
Yeah, they got Gensel. I'd like to see him win. Sully's coached on the team too, so I'd like to see them win. But there's a lot of I hate the Kachucks. I hate them.
Of
so I don't want
course,
to see
Sully
them win.
could coach a good.
Well, yeah, you give him an all-star team.
We do give him an all-star team.
I know he can coach the way he wants with up and down the lineup. You got guys that can fit your system, but on the team that we have,
don't have some of the best players to ever play the game.
I know,
and we can't get on the winning side of
because
things. I don't get it, Mike. I don't get it.
Change his coaching because he refuses to change his coaching style for our team. That's the thing.
I mean, this is probably the most star-studded name team we had in a while. I mean, once you added that defenseman, Carlson, that really made our team look like it was something. But anyway, not the point. The point being, the USA looking good, coached by Coach Mike. And again, hopefully they continue. They do play tonight at 8 p.m. against Sweden. Again, Canada, Finland going at it here in a little over an hour. In the championship game Thursday night at 8 o'clock. I'm going to check that out. I really am. Mike, let's get into some hoops now. I'm going to start with the gals. There is this unrivaled league. Now, I've been following this, for quite some time, for a few weeks since it started. Mike, they had the one-on-one tournament wrapped up the other day, and I got to tell you, this WNBA, these women, they're entertaining. I'm almost on board with them more than the NBA at this point. The winner was this Nafisa Collier. She wins the one-on-one. It was a great tournament. I mean, it was really fun watching the best players in WNBA go one-on-one to see who's the best. Mike, I'm going to continue to watch the WNBA. I'm going to continue to support the gals. And at the end of the day, I got to say, I'm thoroughly more satisfied watching the women play basketball than the men anymore.
I don't know. I stopped following basketball in the late 90s. I pick it up here and there. So I don't know. Both in the men's league, it's become who can hit the most threes. The nuance of the game is gone for the most part. And the women, they still have that nuance, but I don't know. Both of them, I can watch a little bit at a time, but it's never been my sport. I got people I like to watch. I got, teams I like to watch. Right. But for me to get into basketball, I just haven't. I grew up watching the tail end of the Showtime Lakers and Larry Bird in the Celtics.
Well,
to me, that was my basketball. I kind of fell out of it when Jordan came on because that's when I was watching more hockey when the Penguins became dominant.
Well, let me get into this a little bit, Mike. Yeah. The NBA, they had their All-Star weekend this weekend, and it started out on Saturday with the 3-point contest, the skills competition, the dunk contest, and then yesterday, the game. Now, they kind of broke this down the way that they are in hockey. They have several teams. There's 4 different teams. Shaq's OGs ended up beating Chuck's Global Stars 41-25. But again, it's shortened games. It's it's
Yeah.
a lot like hockey's is now. But Shaq's OGs did win 41-25 over Chuck's Global Stars. Steph Curry did get the MVP in the game. So it's basically like a mini tournament, just like hockey's
Yeah.
doing. But I thought the best part, guys, and this is where I thought they were losing ground, was this the festivity night, the dunk contest, the 3-point contest. I got to tell you, this Mac McClung, he really makes it worth it.
He
Mike,
comes
I
out of
don't.
nowhere every year. They bring him up from the D
Well,
League, the
this is
G
the
League.
first time there's ever been a three-peat
Yeah.
in the slam dunk contest. And like I said, you're kind of falling asleep by the guys that are naturally athletic. And then
Yeah.
this guy gets up and does what he and
Yeah.
dunks. Good Lord, Mike. One time he jumped over a car.
Yeah.
The
I
next
saw that
time
one.
there was a guy that was on a ladder, and then another guy that was on a hoverboard. And the guy on
Yeah.
the hoverboard was spinning around in front of the hoop with the ball on his head. And McClung jumps over him, grabs the ball off his head, grabs the other hoop or ball up by the hoop, dunks that, takes that ball, dunks that. This dude is unbelievable. And the thing is, he's probably not successful in the NBA because he's a one-trick pony. I get that,
Yeah.
which a lot of people in the NBA are. But like this kid's 6'2". He's only 6'2". You watch him out on
Yeah.
that court amongst everybody out there.
Yeah.
He's the shortest person. Is this just a sign of the NBA just not really giving it everything anymore? Because I got to tell you, a white dude, 6'2", granted, he could dunk very well, no two ways about
Yeah.
it. He 3 years in a row dunked better than every single guy in the NBA.
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
saying that the NBA just isn't trying, or is this guy really that impressive?
He's really that impressive. That's what he does. That's his forte, is doing these dunks. That's why he's on like a D League roster, and that's what he does. And they bring him out for the dunk tournament. He's more or less a sideshow piece. And you don't have the guys like Vince Carter who can play the game all around, but when it came to dunks, he might be the best all time of coming up with these unique dunks for the contest before.
I've certainly
McClung
seen
came along.
worse
And
in the NBA that's worse. People that are worse than
you don't
McClung.
have guys like Vince Carter, Dominique Wilkins, who would do these.
And it isn't like, Mike, you're not watching this kid and the ball's not hitting off his shoe and bouncing out of it. You know what I mean? I can see if the guy was a total disaster on the court.
Yeah.
But again, I've seen worse in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad can this dude be?
Who knows? Yeah. I don't know. But like a lot of these All-Star games are boring now. And then you watch like this 4-nation tournament that's going on in the NHL. This is what they should do. Have scrap All-Star weekend. Still get, you still get voted in as an All-Star. You still get that prestige of being one of the best players in the league. You still get your bonuses.
But
but you have it, and we're shutting down the season for 2 weeks, and we're doing a best of the world teams from the guys on our roster.
But how does that differ, Mike, from otherwise, wanting the guys to participate in All-Star festivities, so they're watering things down?
Yeah. But it seems like
this is two different directions. One, you're watering them down. The other one, you have guys punching each other in the head.
Yeah.
So what's the right answer here?
I know, because these guys, they don't want to be at All-Star games. They don't want to get hurt not playing for the team. But the minute they put on their nation's jersey, something flips in their head. Like, I'm representing my country. I'm going to go ball all out and go crazy. So like, I understand, that's two extremes. You got to find a middle ground somewhere to where you are going competitive, but you're not getting so competitive you're going to get yourself hurt to hurt your team down the line. There has to be something in between to make it work, because right now the normal NHL All-Star game, NBA All-Star game, the Pro Bowl all suck. They're terrible. The NHL tournament that they have going on is awesome. But what if one of these guys breaks their hand, breaks an orbital bone?
I'm down with it, Mike. If you're doing All-Star weekend and you crack a sweat, I mean,
just crack a sweat. Try.
Give me a reason to look at you as somebody that's a superior athlete to me. I mean, I'm watching an All-Star game. You're selected because of your skills and your performance. Yet I watch you in the celebration and you don't break a sweat. To me, Mike, there needs to be something new that comes along, and whether this is it, I don't know. But again, at the end of the day, one hand they're saying we don't want to get hurt. On the other hand, we don't care because we're playing for our country. It doesn't. I don't really understand this, but I guess in some capacity it makes sense, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, and part of the appeal of the All-Star games used to be like, oh, you were never able to see half these guys on your local market because you only were able to see like stuff on whoever your team played and maybe another local team. Now you can watch all these guys anytime, whenever you want. So people kind of like, I've already seen these guys play. I don't have to imagine what it's going to look like to watch so and so play that I read about in the paper. Now I can just Google search them and watch all their highlights. So that mystique is kind of gone there too. And then did that, translate to the players as well? Again, like everyone already knows what we can do. They can see us. Do we got to try as hard for them? So it's I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to have competitive All-Star games again, like we did when we were younger.
Also, Mike, the 3-point contest. Tyler Hero from Miami did win the 3-point contest. Damian Lillard was involved. Some other big names, but at the end of the day, Tyler Hero comes out on top. Mike, the pitchers and catchers, of course, did start last week in Bradenton.
Yep.
The Pittsburgh Pirates are down there. It's going to be just another week until we start some preseason games, spring training games, if you will. Mike, this is going to be your Pittsburgh Pirates starting lineup as of this year. Bear with me because Horowitz did get injured, and I do have something to say about that after. Mike, this is your lineup. Give or take, just bear with me. Andrew McCutcheon will be batting DH. Brian Reynolds has moved to right field.
Yep.
O'Neal Cruz, center field. Joey Bart behind the plate. Nikki G, second base. Horowitz, first base. Cabrian Hayes, third base. Tommy Pham, left field, and IKF. Shortstop, the pitching rotation appears to look like this. Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, Johan Oviedo, and Bailey Falter. All in all, Mike, not a bad team, but is it a team that could even make the playoffs? I don't know. But here's something that was said that kind of didn't sit well with me and hopefully a lot of other Pittsburgh fans as well. Of course, Horowitz goes down with the injury. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. He's out pretty much all the way up until the regular season, maybe beyond. GM Ben Sherrington, when asked if the Pirates were on the verge of making a big move before the start of spring training because of the injury to Horowitz, he replies, quote, "We're not on the doorstep of anything," end quote. Mike, is that not the most Pittsburgh Pirate answer that you could possibly give?
We're
not on the doorstep of anything.
That is so on point, on brand for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's not even funny. Yeah, he was just talking about, making a trade for a first baseman, but that could be applied to everything in this organization.
Absolutely. That's the way that I took it, even though that that's what he meant. I can only take it this way because this is how it always goes with the Pirates.
Yeah, because like you said, going down this lineup, you have players.
It's a nice little lineup.
But spend some more fucking money and you can build a nice winner here. This rotation is a damn good rotation, especially Skeens, Keller, Jones. That is a killer rotation right there. And then that top three, then you sprinkle in Oviedo, Falter. You can also, go out and get another starting pitcher.
Bubba Chandler's not too far along either,
yeah,
Mike.
He's not too far along. And I like the catching situation. Joey Bart, Eddie Rodriguez, if he comes back healthy, you just got to figure out what you're going to do. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Henry Davis. Like right there, I'm making him available to anyone in the league. Just move on from him. I'm just get him out of here.
Well, Mike, look
and
at
then
this.
To use him to flip for maybe a first baseman, maybe someone.
They literally made these two moves. These two, the owner's talking about improving over the offseason and getting better. They literally went out and got Horowitz.
Yep.
Who's out 2 months with a wrist surgery, and then Tommy Pham, who's on the bottom, the bottom half of his career. So they basically took out Rowdy Tellez and put in Horowitz. So whatever, you're going to get an improvement there. Who knows? And then Tommy Pham, again, you bring in the guy from De La Cruz last year, and all the way down to the other corner outfielders that we've had. Is Tommy Pham is he going to be enough to win a bunch of games more? I don't think. Mike, this team literally did nothing in the offseason. Yeah. They just did a carousel at first base, a carousel in the corner outfield, and said, let's run it back.
Yeah, and I'm going through the roster right now. It's the same names we have been seeing year in and year out.
And we've
we
been
just
losing and
we
coming
just
in
keep
having losing seasons year in, year out.
yeah
How can you run your team
we
like this?
we just keep running them back, baby. We still have what Holderman and Bednar as our setup
And
and
I would have
closing.
rather kept Chapman out of the three of them, to be honest.
Right? You don't know what you're going to get out of Chapman, but you can go on he will have a nice little run where he does well, and he's going to have a run where he's going to suck because he's not who he once was. But with Bednar, if he can't come
Mike,
back healthy, I don't trust him.
I
I don't
was
trust him now.
100% happy with what Chapman brought to the table for a couple reasons. For one, we're the Pirates. I don't expect him to be the great Chapman.
Right?
If you just give us a fraction of what Chapman was, just a
I'm okay
portion,
with it.
I'm okay with it. I truly am. And for two, Holderman, I don't know how many times last year I said to myself, this guy sucks. This guy
Yeah.
sucks. This guy sucks. His games went on and on and on. And Bednar, I mean, come on, if this dude doesn't bring it back together and pitch the way that he did 2 years ago, I just, again, Mike, it's just kicking the can. It's not even kicking the can down the road with this team anymore. It's just a blatant lack of effort to try to put together a winning baseball team.
It is, and once again, it's Bob Nutting taking your money and putting it into his wallet, and he just walks away happy as can be.
Happy as a clam, he is.
Yeah, he does not give a single shit about winning. I mean, like Bednar, a 5.77 ERA last year.
Yeah.
Gave up 9 home runs. Yeah, I mean, come on now.
The dude gave up. Oh God,
28 walks. I mean,
I can't believe they did nothing. It's unbelievable. You got worse. Listen, they got worse because they gave up Chapman. Listen, this guy is mowing people down in the 8th inning, night after night, getting 2-3 strikeouts an outing, and you get rid of him. But you bring back, come on, look at some of these people, like the people they brought in. Horrible. This is just the 4th first baseman in 4 years for the Pirates. This carousel is pathetic.
Yeah,
but they brought back Vogelball though as a hitting coach, Mike.
As a hitting coach.
Now a guy like Vogelball, these big guys, they could just hit, right? How do you teach that? How do you teach that to guys that are having trouble with their techniques? I don't know. I didn't really take Vogelball as a great hitter. I took him as a power hitter. But is he going to be able to teach guys how to hit the baseball and a woo? There's a reason the Pirates are never in it.
Yep. Yeah, and like Horowitz, like he didn't have a bad year in Toronto,
but he's no better than the other 3 guys we've had in the past 2
years. I know.
You might as well have kept Carlos Santana, or you might as well have kept Rowdy, or you might as well have kept Vogelball. That's just the Pirates, Mike. I'm glad we have so much other going on in the spring with the spring football and women's football and all kind of other good sports, because the Pirates, they'll frustrate you. They'll frustrate you quick.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a long bucket. It's going to be a long 162 games.
Yeah. I got to tell everybody about the website, man.
The2dumbyusers.com. Check it out. New ones coming up later today. Either today or tomorrow. I'm doing a mock draft, and it's funny. I actually, in my mock draft before Ryan and I started talking about the show, I had Jackson Dart in that mock draft in the 3rd round. That was kind of coincidental and funny. Check it out at the2dumbyusers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyusers.com. That's www.the2dumbyusers.com. Today's trivia, Mike, is a baseball question. Right around the corner, of course, is spring training, and we'll be playing games here in not too long. Pitchers and catchers, now that the whole teams are showing up. Mike, this is in direct correlation with Black History Month. So think Black History Month. Put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board, everybody at home, here goes your baseball question of the day for Black History Month. Here we go. On September 1st, 1971, this Major League Baseball team fielded the league's first all-black starting lineup. Can you name the Major League Baseball team? On September 1st, 1971, this Major League team fielded the league's first all-black starting lineup. Take a moment to think that over. We're live 5 days a week, right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. All right, my question of the day is this. On September 1st, 1971, this Major League Baseball team fielded the league's first all-black starting lineup. Mike, who was the team?
You know what? I'm just going to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I hear that mouse clicking away over there too.
It's not that, I swear.
Every day, question time. I don't
I
hear
know.
that mouse
I know.
clicking, and
Yeah.
then question time, I hear this. The question of the day, guys. On September 1st, 1971, this Major League Baseball team fielded the league's first all-black starting lineup. Mike, you say the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. Awfully confident you are, I see. The answer, guys, to the question is on the September 1st, 1971, this Major League team fielded the first all-black starting lineup. It was, in fact, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I do have the names of the players right here, and I think that it's certainly worth it to mention the names. The very first all-black starting lineup in the MLB, guys, right here. It happened on September 1st, 1971. They were led off by second baseman Rennie Stennett. Batting second in center field was Gene Kleins. In right field, Roberto Clemente. At this time, Willie Stargell in left field. Manny Sanguin behind the plate.
Whew.
David Cash at third base. Al Oliver at first base. Jackie Hernandez at shortstop. And Doc Ellis, no other than Doc Ellis on the hill. Mike, that was the first time in Major League Baseball history that all 9 positions were fielded by black starters. Wow. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
And people say it is.
We finally know for something good.
Say what you want about Pittsburgh, but we do some good diverse stuff here. I never get when people talk trash. It's just we do a lot of good. There's a lot of good that happens in Pittsburgh, people. So Pittsburgh Pirates, guys, they were the first team to field an all-black starting lineup. That was the question of the day. I did want to make sure we get that in there, Mike, for Black History Month, because today's already the 17th of February. Believe it or not, the 17th of February. 11 more days. This month's over.
January was 4 months long, and February is like a week long.
Yeah.
just this month flies by. The preceding month, the
coldest, snowiest freaking month ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. I did not get a chance to catch up on the 2 cranky jagoffs last night. Of course, they didn't have the show Friday, but they made up for it last night at 9:30 right here. I didn't get a chance. I'm going to check the guys out today, see what they had going on. I never missed a show yet, so I feel bad. I'm going to get back in there and check out the 2 cranky jagoffs. They'll be back to their normal time on Friday night. But get a chance, if you didn't catch it, go back on and see what they had to say last night. I know I sure am. Also, Mike, tomorrow I do believe we get Derpy.
I think so, yeah.
Finch. We get the crew. Finch will be available tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday. I believe Derpy will be in tomorrow, Thursday. Derpy, of course, he did win the Permani Brothers gift card in the picks this year. And I gotta be honest, if he don't get his ass to the show here,
I might have to take him.
I know. We're gonna go, and we'll video the whole entire thing with me and you eating all that food.
Yeah, we'll take him. I said, screw you, Derpy.
We'll take a video. It'll be me and you, Finch, Mark Malone, Jen, over-enthusiastic Maud Caleb, everybody like this. Everybody.
We'll fly everyone in.
We'll fly everyone in just to
on
go to
Derpy's
Permani
time.
On Derpy's time.
I'll do a little credit card fraud on Derpy.
We'll just send them the bill.
Yeah, it works for me.
Also, Mike, the smart TV. This was kind of funny. I seen over the weekend somebody's post. This was just a personal post. They said, "I would consider a smart TV if it actually turned the volume up when you started chewing on something." I thought, boy, that's
I like that.
I do too.
I like that. I like that.
We got these smartphones they're barely. These things could do anything. However, you start typing in Pornhub, it forgets how to type in porn. You have to type in every single letter by yourself. It never.
Of course, you would know that.
It never has memory on Pornhub. I have to every single time. All 7 letters. Got to type it out. Real smart.
I'm surprised you don't have it saved in there as like your favorite website on the smart TV.
I don't know how.
Next time I'm at the studio, I'll show you how. I'll show you how I do it.
Yeah, when you come here where I hang out with all the guys or whatever,
All the guys.
what was you saying about me earlier in the show?
Every time I see you, man, you're always hanging out with a bunch of dudes.
that's not anywhere near the truth, but still funny nonetheless. Let's go. Spring Jen says you ain't kidding, you ain't kidding, and Jen, you're up there too. I feel for you up there in Wisconsin. I'm sure it's really cold. Jen watched it. I'm not sure. Maybe she's talking about the. I'm not sure. Maybe the Pirates. I doubt it, but she said she watched something. Maybe the game between the all black team or the first all. I don't know, Jen. I'm not sure what
I
you
don't know.
watched. Mark Malone says we're about to get ass hammered here in Southwest Missouri.
Oof.
Yeah, Missouri's been getting it pretty hard too, and
Yeah.
Midwest has been getting it. But what I hear is once it's gone and it's summer, it's going to be record heat. So enjoy this, I guess, because when the record heat gets here, that's no fun either. So I'm sure we'll be bitching about that.
Oh, I hate the heat. The heat could fuck right off.
Yeah. Both of them are pretty extreme anymore. Whatever
They
happened to
are.
normal middays? They just don't exist.
No, some bullshit.
You get about
Some
3 of them a
bullshit.
year. You really do.
Yeah.
You get one in the spring, one in the summer, one in the fall, and that's like it. So do check out tomorrow. Tomorrow again, Derpy Finch will both be in the house with us here. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to wrap up for today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pirate season may be around the corner, but don't forget, man. We got the draft, we got free agency, we got the combine.
So
Shit
much
that actually
football.
matters.
Yeah.
Shit that matters.
Yeah.
Not the Buckeyes.
For sure. Mark says, Jesus, Jen, we're about to get negative mind degrees. That's just the unusual. That's just the usual BS. I just hate this time of year. February is the worst. But I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out, checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board as well. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show and at home as well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Again, the Team USA back at it tonight, taking on Team Sweden, 8 o'clock, to see who goes on to the championship out of the winner of Canada and Finland, which is going to be on less than an hour. So if you're keeping an eye on those games, the Canada game does come on at 1, and again, Team USA tonight at 8 o'clock. Mike, as far as other sports, doesn't seem like there's a whole bunch other going on today. Pitt's not back till tomorrow. A few things like this. So enjoy the hockey game. Again, the Team USA, they have not lost yet. They're in the lead, Mike. They have 6 points. They're 2-0. The other 3 teams, they all have 2 points. So Team USA is looking better than everybody, and look like they're in pretty good shape to maybe win this whole thing, Mike, at the end of the week.
They might be able to. I think so. If they play the way they did against Canada, they should be able to beat Sweden today, and probably Canada in the rematch.
That will be, that should be really good. If it comes down to Thursday night, the USA and Canada, the rematch, you know what? Shame on you if you don't watch, because I think that will be classic, Mike. As far as, especially with the way the game went over the weekend, that makes this one coming up a must-see if it, in fact, ends up these 2 teams.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, shame on you. And to quote Mike Lang, shame on you for 6 weeks.
That's right. Anything else, Mike?
I got nothing, man. Thanks for everyone tuning in, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Try to keep warm. We know it's cold out there. Stay warm. We'll be back tomorrow at our usual time. We hope to see you then. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the 2 Dumb Yinzers,